Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at the 2018 Senate map based off Donald Trump's approval rating in every one of these states. So I've done a 2020 map based off the approval rating of Donald Trump, and then I've also done a 2018 Senate map and governor map, like I will be doing today, based off the incumbent's approval rating, regardless if they're up for re-election or not. So this map should be pretty interesting considering that these numbers are relatively new compared to the other ones that I could be using. These are taken from June 2018, so a couple months have passed, but obviously some states are always going to be the same way for the president. But right now, I have filled in all 50 states on a separate page, but we're just obviously going to be covering these 35 races. Some states have 2 races in them, like Minnesota and Mississippi, so they will be characterized the same as the state at large based off the approval rating. So we start up in the Northeast and we finish off in the West Coast. That's how I'm deciding to do it, because I usually start off in the West Coast and it doesn't always work out 100%. So Maine, the approval rating of the president is, so when I refer to it, I will say disapproval +1, which means that his approval rating is -1, right? So when I say his approval rating is +1, that means he has a positive approval rating of 1. So that's how we'll be referring to it, because I'm going through 35 states and 33 states, and I don't want to have to explain each one when I could just be saying disapproval +1 for the president, and you'll still understand what I'm saying. So Maine, disapprove +1, so that means it goes 1 point for the Democrats. That's how I'm doing it here. Pretty simple to understand. In the state of Vermont, disapprove +21. Obviously, that is already a safe seat right now. Massachusetts, disapproval +25, so that one goes solidly in the Democratic column. Connecticut goes in the likely column because it is disapprove +13, but its counterpart, Rhode Island, well, it's right next to it, not necessarily its counterpart, is disapprove +18. So we go over to New York, disapprove +21, his home state, but pretty expectable because that is a Democratic state. New Jersey and Delaware go into the likely column because it's disapprove +13 in New Jersey and disapprove +12 in Delaware. Over in Maryland, that one goes in the safe column, disapprove +22. Over in Virginia, that one would go into the leaning column because it is disapprove +4. Pennsylvania is disapprove +5, putting it as well in the leaning column. So that puts the Democrats at 34 and the Republicans at 42. So since we actually have added the tilting feature for the map itself, I'm going to put Maine in the tilt feature because it is decided by 1% or less. So that goes into the tilt column for the Democratic Party. In Ohio, it is disapprove +3, which is pretty surprising considering that Ohio went larger than some other states that currently approve of the president. Just going into one of those states, that is the state of North Carolina, approve. Actually, we're not covering North Carolina, so that's pretty interesting. We're not covering North Carolina or South Carolina or Georgia, but we will be covering Florida, another state that didn't vote for Trump as much as Ohio, yet somehow approves of him, +5. So Florida goes in the Republican column. This is a flip from blue to red. And then we go over to Mississippi, approve +25. So that is very solid for both of the seats there. And that's how I said I would characterize it. In Tennessee, it is approve +15, which means it's on the edge for the likely column. 1 point over would put it in the safe column, but Tennessee flips. Not really flips, but this is a seat that many people thought would be going blue. Based off Trump's approval rating, it would be going red. Over in West Virginia, it's approved +24, so we know that state solidly goes towards the Republicans, putting them already at 47 seats, and this is not where they're going to finish off. Over in Indiana, it is a likely seat with approved +7 for Donald Trump, giving the Republicans a total of 48 seats. But here's where the Democrats do pretty well. Michigan, disapprove +8. Wisconsin, disapprove +13. Over in Minnesota, disapprove +15, so that means it finishes off. I did not mean to put Wisconsin or Minnesota in the safe column because, again, it is only safe if it's over 15%. And then we go down over to, not really down, but yeah, I guess down from Minnesota, but Missouri, approve +5. So that one I'm actually going to put in the leaning column because, again, it's right on the edge. Could possibly tilt over to likely if his approval rating jumps up a little bit. Texas, approval +10%, so that goes in the likely column, giving the Republicans the majority already. They currently have 50 seats, and because of Vice President Mike Pence, it is now going into the majority. Over in Nebraska, it is actually approval rating +5, so that is very interesting. It's higher in Texas, in Tennessee, in Indiana, and it's on the same level as Missouri and Florida for a state like Nebraska, so that's very, very interesting. Over in South Dakota, it is approved +14. So that one goes into the likely column. Oh, not South Dakota, my bad. North Dakota is approved +5. So that one goes into the leaning column, but regardless, that is a flip from blue to red, putting the Republicans at 52 seats already. The Democrats do have some states left over, but they currently have 39 seats. And then we can go over to Montana, where his approval rating is +8, which puts it in the likely column for the GOP. Wyoming, approval rating +24, so that puts it in the safe column. But here's where the Democrats do pretty well. New Mexico, disapprove +12, so that one goes into the likely column for the Democrats. And this is a little bit of interesting scenario. Utah and Arizona both have a positive and negative approval rating of the president that evens out, so it's pretty much no net for either side. So what I'm going to do is I will be, I guess, using the previous ratings that I had before, because there is no pure toss-up map. So Arizona goes towards the Democrats in the tilt column, and Utah goes to the Republicans, only because Arizona has been characterized as a Democratic state continuously. Utah has been characterized as a Republican state continuously. So right now, I can trust my former prediction only in the terms of a tilt for either political party for right now, just based off the approval rating. But you could probably expect them to vote in larger numbers for either political party. In Nevada, it is disapprove +8, so that puts it in the likely column for the Democrats. And here's where the Democrats are going to do pretty well. In California, disapprove +22. In Washington, disapprove +22 as well. And in Hawaii, disapprove +23. So that finishes off our Senate map. Compared to where we stand today, 49 Democrats, 51 Republicans. Where it stands now, 45 Democrats and 55 Republicans. So a lot more red on that map than where it was before. You saw a lot of those stripes, and now a lot more red, maybe just a little bit more blue in Nevada and Arizona. But for the rest of it, it's a lot less blue than what we had before. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.